All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Back with another video. It's Tuesday, July the 2nd. Now, I got an interesting show for you today because I'm going to show you how the Democrats who always play identity politics, how it's backfiring on them. They're going to let this black woman, because she's a delegate, tell them that if they replace Joe Biden with a white man and don't use Kamala Harris, she told them that all black women will leave the Democratic Party. So you mean to tell me that the Democrats, y'all done convince the sisters that they are your backbone, and now they are demanding that you toe the line, like y'all they kids or something. That Democratic Party is weird. So I want y'all to check out this video and watch how she check them and tell them that all black women will leave the Democratic Party if they use a white man to replace Biden, because we already know Biden got to be replaced. But they played identity politics so much and played the race card so much that they being held hostage by it themselves. Check this out. This for fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act for educational purpose and commentary. Check out how she tell them.
Let them have it. Why are we fighting this inevitable desire and they can't deliver it? I mean, Trump is going to be sentenced on July the 11th. The Supreme Court is like, come on, we don't even want to discuss this. But give the people a shot. And all they're asking for is something different. And let's give it to them.
Who do you think would be strongest? Which Democrat do you think would be strongest? We've heard so many names. Governor Newsom in California, Governor Whitmer, Governor Shapiro in Pennsylvania, obviously Senator Warnock, Pete Buttigieg, Vice President Harris. Who do you think has the best chance of beating Trump?
Let Democrats decide. All of these people are marvelously talented people that you and I know about, but 99% of the country doesn't know about. And you know what people will do? They will pay attention. They will listen to what Senator Warnock has to say, or Governor Newsom, or Vice President Harris, or anybody else. I don't want to give names, but let them all go out and make their case. And I think the country is concerned enough, engaged enough. It's 72%, or I know that number. I'll stick with this whole interview, and let them decide. This is our democracy. This is our country. This is our future. Just don't sit there and do something, man. Move it.
Michigan.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about this clip here involving a Democrat Party delegate who happens to be a black woman by the name of Areva Martin. And she's going to go on Stephen A. Smith's show and send a warning shot to Democrats who want to replace Joe Biden with anybody not named Kamala, right? Because apparently that's what they want to do, okay? Behind closed doors, Democrats who want to replace Joe Biden do not want to replace him with Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris is basically just as unpopular as Joe Biden.
I have spoken to some top Democrats who say that there would actually be relief if he were to step down. And one person said to me, look, everyone's counting out Kamala Harris because right now her poll numbers are below President Biden's. But if she were to be the one to carry this torch into November, there could be a method of reintroducing her to the country that could be effective with independents, with moderates, with those critical suburban women that are necessary for winning the White House.
NBC's Kristen Welker is floating the idea that should Joe Biden decide to step down from the presidential race, that could create an avenue in which Kamala Harris, his vice president, is reintroduced to American voters who get to decide who wins the general election. But Kamala Harris really isn't being seriously considered as a Biden replacement in the off chance that Biden does the right thing and step down. Right now, by the way, there's no indication that he intends to do that. His family, including Jill Biden, is urging him to stay in the race despite his horrible, terrible debate performance. Now, Politico reports that Harris's allies are frustrated with all the chatter about a possible replacement involving Gavin Newsom, the California governor, or Michigan's governor, Gretchen Whitmer. And I want to give you some of the anonymous quotes by Harris allies to Politico. One of them says, the fact that people keep coming back to this is so offensive to so many of us. They still don't get that the message you're saying to people, to this Democratic Party, is we prefer a white person.
Oh, please.
So they're weaponizing race in order to make a case for Kamala Harris, despite the fact that she has her own.
This is what I was telling you. They done played the race card so much, and they done race baited so much and played gender politics to the level that they are held hostage themselves by gender and race politics. Watch and pay attention. They've told black women that they are the backbone of the Democratic Party, just like they used to tell them they were the backbone of the black community. Now, once you have told them that, they will try to fulfill that and be the backbone and give you ultimatums and talk to you like you're a kid. Because she's saying that she's willing to betray the whole party that she's been a part of if she don't get her way. Think about that. Watch what she's going to say. If we don't get a black woman over any other white man or anybody else, we will walk away and blow up this party. That's what she's going to say. Because they've elevated them to a status to where they're using what they've learned over there at that liberal plantation. They're using it back on the liberals. Now follow this conversation and watch.
Voter abilities, we'll get to that in just a moment. Another Harris ally told Politico, if they think they are going to get through South Carolina bashing an effective and qualified black woman vice president, their instincts are as bad as I thought they were. I would venture to say that this Harris ally has terrible instincts. Because as we know, Kamala Harris's approval rating has been low for a long time now.
However, the problem is that if they choose to skip over Kamala Harris, there will be a revolt from the black bourgeoisie, okay? The black liberals that support Kamala, okay, they are going to revolt against the party and start boohoo whining and crying racism and sexism. And again, that is the warning shot that has been put out here by this black woman delegate on the Stephen A. Smith show, where she says, hey, yeah, we don't like this idea of replacing Kamala Harris with a white man. If that happens, then we are going to destroy the Democrat Party, okay? Which is absolutely hilarious to think about. So without further ado, let's get to it.
First of all, Stephen, who are we agreeing? There's a long list of Democrats. Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer. The list goes on and on and on. You named 4 or 5 people. Where is their consensus? You've got to build consensus, and there is not consensus right now. If you pick a white man over Kamala Harris, black women, I can tell you this, we're going to walk away, we're going to blow the party up.
Are you really? Are you really?
Wow. Did you hear that? If they don't get their way, they're going to destroy their own party. Clearly, we know, in the black community, we know black women will vote against the interests of black men and black children for a benefit to herself. Not all of them, but a lot of them will vote against the interests of their families and a man for position. But what she just said, she said with no qualms about it, that if you don't do what we say, black women will destroy your party. We'll blow this party up. That's deep.
Black women really going to walk away from the Democrat Party
and go where?
Blow the party up, right? This is what she said. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it, right? I'll believe it when I see it, because black women vote Democrat at a 95% clip. I don't think there's anything the Democrats can do to lose the black woman vote. But who knows, okay? Not the economy, not the border, not crime, okay? Just not the disaster that the Biden administration has been. That doesn't lose black female voters, right? What will lose black female voters is Democrats deciding that, hey, you know what, maybe we shouldn't play identity politics when it comes to whoever we want to replace Joe Biden. Maybe we should go with an individual that may be the most qualified and the best person to win. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to make sure that the black woman, right, gets her shot. if you replace her with a white man, then that's racism, that's bigotry, and black women are going to destroy the party, right? What you get would be hilarious to see, because Democrats spend all this time telling us how we must worship the liberal black woman because she is the savior of the Democrat Party, right? Wow, we really are living in the Twilight Zone. We really are.
If you pick the black woman,
Where you gonna walk away to, Ariva? Where you gonna walk away to? You gonna walk away? You ain't gonna walk away to Trump?
Over Kamala Harris. So where are we getting agreement from on who this ideal Democratic candidate should be? Tell me that. Nobody's told me who it should be. And then tell me how you're going to get the 4,000 delegates, which I am one of them. I'm a delegate coming from California. So who's going to step out? One, tell Joe Biden you got to step aside. Because everybody's not being mature about this process. Joe Biden is not just the president. There's a whole team of people. There's an administration. So if Joe Biden, when he gets reelected, which my prediction is that he will.
She's saying somebody else is not being mature, but she just said that if they pick a white man over Kamala Harris, who is an Indian woman, that black women will destroy and blow up the Democratic Party. Wow. So all that race baiting and all that misandry and gender politics over there is coming home to roost. It's coming home because now they're being told to, if they're going to pick somebody, pick Kamala Harris. And what they don't know is, if you pick Kamala Harris, that's a sure loss. It's like they think the sisterhood extends to other races. See, the sisterhood is just an idea that they have in the black community. Other women will not vote for Kamala Harris. No men will. So that means that they pick a candidate just because black women want to see a so-called woman of color in the office. For what reason, I don't know. See, that's why this country is hemorrhaging the way it is. The country is falling the way it is. It's falling because everything has been turned on its head. Everything God says do, the Democrats done said do. They seek to destroy the nuclear family. You know what I mean? They want to mess with your children's gender and open borders. I mean, you really have to look at these Democrats and see that they are disgusting as a people. They are traitorous. She said that if she don't get her way, they're going to blow the party up. They're going to destroy the party. That's what she said. If she don't get her way. But that's how they've been doing in mainstream media. If you don't agree with them, they call you a racist. Or if you disagree with Democratic Party and you a black conservative, they call you a Tom and all kind of other things. If you disagree with them, they act like petulant children. But really, they cowards. They're not going to do nothing. Them the same ones was running around talking about defund the police, but they'll call the police on you and snitch on you in a minute. You know what I mean? How you going to defund the police, but then you know you're snitching, that's the first person you're going to call? I mean, it's just like the insanity on the left is reached a fever pitch. They bring out a senile, feeble, old man with dementia and say, you should vote for him. That, even forgetting the fact that he was a staunch segregationist and racist for most of his 50 years in Congress. What we seeing over there is weird. Let's watch some more though.
He brings with him Kamala Harris, the most diverse administration in the history of this country.
And what has that gotten us? Right? What has that gotten us? What has diversity gotten this country? All right, I'm so serious. I'm so serious. In terms of the diversity that Democrats have talked about, because what they actually mean by diversity is less white, right? That's what they actually really mean. They don't mean real diversity, okay? They just mean less white. What is less white got in this country? Yo, that's a serious question, okay? That's a serious question. When you hear what these woke revolutionaries talking about how much is a good thing for this country to be less white, ask them, what good has come out of the United States of America becoming less white? What good has happened? That's a damn good question. It really is.
Y'all need to just stay the course. We got more black judges appointed under Joe Biden than anyone, even President Barack Obama.
That is not the point, because we're not, once again, hold on, Reba. We're not, we are not.
I don't know anything about it, but I know you don't give up on your star player in the middle of a game.
Okay, excuse me, time out. Let me explain to you. I can give you a host of examples of when teams have given up on a star player that has gotten a bit too old and beyond his prime. It happens in sports all the time, not just with coaches, but also with, not just with players, but also with coaches, and also with executives. That's absolutely not true.
You tell me why every Democratic primary that has taken place between the time Democratic primary started this year until today, Joe Biden has won those primaries. If all of these Democrats wanted someone other than Joe Biden to be the candidate on the ballot in 2024, they had an opportunity before June of 2024 to make that a reality.
No, they did not. Right? No, they did not. And here comes the delusion, okay? Democrats did not have a real primary. This is part of the reason why they're in this position, okay? They essentially rigged their primaries so that they would incentivize other people not to get in. They were like, we're not going to have any debates. The media barely covered it. Biden essentially went unchallenged because the Democrat Party did not allow people to challenge Joe Biden. If you try to challenge Joe Biden, they quite literally tried to kick you off the ballot, right? In some states, you had challengers to Joe Biden not even get on the ballot. This is why RFK decided to drop out of the Democrat Party nomination process, and he went independent because it was rigged against him, okay? The Democrat Party has rigged all of their primaries, right, for the most part, okay, going as far back as 2016 when they rigged it against Bernie in favor of Hillary. And then in 2020, they rigged it against Bernie in favor of Joe Biden. So when you ask the question of, well, if all these people want Joe Biden to drop out or not to be the candidate, they had a chance to do so. No, they actually really didn't, because the Democrat Party made sure they didn't have a chance to have a real say on whether or not Biden should be the nominee, which again is extremely anti-democratic, okay? Considering how a vast majority of Democrat Party voters wanted Joe Biden to be replaced a long time ago. But Democrats decided to ignore that and to overthrow democracy in their own party. And this is why they're currently in this situation. Had Democrats actually had a real primary and Joe Biden won fair and square, Democrats would be in a much better position right now, because you could easily swap out Joe Biden for whoever came in second. And that person, people would already know and be familiar with, because the Democrats actually had a primary process. It's like, for example, if they pulled Trump out of the race for whatever reason, right? The Republicans could, well, I ain't gonna say they could easily go with Nikki Haley, because most of the party don't like Nikki Haley, but they could go with Ron DeSantis, right? They could go with somebody that the voters know and are comfortable with. The Democrats don't have that. They quite literally do not have anybody on their bench that is popular enough to give the Democrats a better shot at beating Trump than Joe Biden. They just don't.
Do we have polling yet that suggests that voters want a different candidate?
Yeah, this is the whole question, right? If it's not President Biden, then who could it be on the Democratic side? And the truth is, there are no easy answers. You know, I went back and looked at the polling versus Donald Trump for a bunch of different Democrats have been suggested. Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris. Look at this. They all trail Donald Trump. So the idea here that we're somehow going to get this magic bullet, that there's somehow going to be some Democrat who can beat Donald Trump easily, I just don't see it in the numbers. At this particular point, if Joe Biden takes on Donald Trump, he's trailing. If there's another Democrat who runs against Donald Trump, they too are trailing. Perhaps you want to make the argument you bring in another Democrat who isn't as well known as Joe Biden, who's has universal name recognition, and maybe they could change the numbers. But the fact is, any Democrat who entered the race right now, at least among those that are being suggested by a bunch of folks, they would all enter the race at this particular point as an underdog to former President Donald Trump.
Yeah, and this is why I say that I don't think that Joe Biden will be pulled ultimately, okay? Not because Democrats don't want to pull Joe Biden, but simply because they don't have a real choice but to stick with Joe Biden, okay? I know a lot of people say they're going to pull Joe Biden, they're going to pull him out. I personally just don't think that it's possible at this point. I don't think pulling Joe Biden gives the Democrats a better chance of winning because Kamala is worse than Biden. And if they skip over Kamala, which they want to do, there's going to be a revolt, right? She just said black women are going to destroy the Democrat Party if Kamala Harris is not the nominee, right? Which, again, would be hilarious, but that's the primary reason why if they do decide not to go with Joe Biden, it's going to be Kamala. It's either going to be Joe or it's going to be Kamala, right? It's not going to be anybody else. I'm pretty sure on that. I'm pretty sure if it's not Joe, it's going to be Kamala. It has to be.
And I don't know about all those sports figures that's been changed in games. I'm going to take your word for that. But I bet you they weren't almost at the finish line when you decided, let's change them out. We are almost at the finish line. We have an opportunity to save this democracy. And I bet you blow up Joe Biden, you might as well give Donald Trump the keys to the White House and let him start ruling the country in August.
Yeah, so again, I may disagree with her liberal viewpoint, but I think that she's kind of spot on there in her assessment of what would happen if they actually replace Joe Biden. I really do think they would be blowing up the park.
I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to put the rest of the video in the community section. Shout out to Greg from the Black Conservative Perspective. And I did a video on this to show you just how weird these politics are getting. You know what I mean? I mean, like, this lady says that she will destroy and blow up the entire party if she don't get her way. And it's like, who are these people with this sense of entitlement? The Joy Reids, the Roland Martins, these plantation mammies and pappies over there, the Democratic Party. They off the chain. You know, the most immoral administration in government in the history of this country and almost the world. Only Rome under Caligula was as wicked as this. Have you ever studied the history of Rome and Caligula? America rivals Rome in debauchery, into deviancy and perversion. And they got all them different inclusive people over there all wanting something for nothing. They all want bills. They all want to be in control and tell somebody else what to do and shove their debauchery and perversions down people's throat in the name of liberalism. And you can see their mentality, how traitorous they is, even with each other. If they don't get their way, they will betray each other. Just like they're betraying the country to get their way from global elitists. They're selling the country out over there. It's deep. You got to pay attention to the politics, what they're saying and what they're not saying. I don't want to keep you all day. I'm going to let you go. It's Detroit's HPTV, sending to you out of Detroit. Support Detroit's Black Action and Thought Collective. It's a nonprofit out of Detroit. The Cash App is in the channel description. As always, salute to the Patriots. Keep your head on a swivel. Peace. Like, share, and subscribe.